Welcome to week 6 of the Bias Bettors podcast. As always, our goal is to make you money. For our YouTube followers, you can see our record against the spread on the screen right now. Coming into this week's matchups, the Bias Bettors are 66-50 against the spread. 16 games over 500. We continue to do very well in college football and right around 500 in the NFL. This collective of 6 people are 6 of the greatest gambling minds you will ever find. As always, we got to start with who's hot, and someone is pretty consistently on this slide. So I've said it a few times. He's getting some traction with some Big 12 following on social media. But if you are not tailing Bias Better Dudley's picks, you got to start doing it. The man is hot again. I think it was it a 3-1 weekend or a 4-1 weekend, Dudley?
It was 3-2. That was it. It was just three and it was 3-1, but I had a parlay in there that missed.
3-1 against the spread. You did have that risky parlay that didn't hit, but I'm considering you 3-1. All were Big 12 games. Went 3-1 against the spread. Kansas fumbling at the 1-yard line probably costed you 4-0.
Yeah, well, 5-0. The parlay would have hit too.
Okay, the parlay would have hit, and Kansas would have covered had the guy not fumbled at the 1-yard line. Speaking of fumbling at the 1-yard line, we come to you live here on Thursday night, and Kyron Williams just fumbled at the 1-yard line. So nice little segue there, Dudley. Good job. We do have 2 Rams fans.
My!
We do have 2 Rams fans on the podcast. Rams AG, obviously.
And AG's got to pause it for like 20 seconds. I'm 20 seconds behind. He just fumbled it right now.
No,
you're more than 20.
Well past.
You're like 20 minutes behind.
They just connected on the punt.
So we have
two
Rams fans watching a pretty intense, huge divisional matchup right now on Thursday Night Football. So you might hear some live reactions in the background. We are flying in a guy to call the Red Sox losing, but definitely some live reactions going on. The other people that come into the week extremely hot are still our NCAA football picks. Another 8-5 weekend for the Bias Bettors. On the season, 17 games over 500 in college football against the spread. And then the last one, I'm going to go to Winkleman here. The European putters. I mean, I've got an image of Justin Rose there, the absolute rat of the European team. But the European putters were hot this weekend in the Ryder Cup. What do you think, Winkleman?
I mean, there was one day where we were birding holes just to push them. They were making everything they looked at. Fist pumping in America's face. Yeah, it was not good.
It was a tough weekend for any USA Ryder Cup fans. But like I said, Dudley's making himself.
Did you say publicly your Cam Young comment?
I did not ever come out with that publicly, and I'm glad I didn't, because I've had some bad golf takes this year. That was maybe the worst of the worst.
It was the worst.
So just if we talk golf takes for a second, before the Ryder Cup, I was trying to find a really long shot bet, and I think I told Winkleman and AG Cam Young to not score a single point in the Ryder Cup. I think he ended up scoring 3, so that was horrible. I also, during the U.S. Open,
American's best player.
During the U.S. Open in July, I picked one guy out of the field and told Dudley to bet on him to miss the cut. It was J.J. Spawn. He ended up winning the U.S. Open that week.
I think you tweeted it. You didn't just tell one guy. You tweeted it.
You come to me for some NFL and some NCAA college football bets. Do not come to me for anything in the world of golf. I love it, but I'm not good at it. Speaking of college football, the Bias Bettors are hot. They're also hot against Fox Sports' own Joel Klatt. Joel Klatt had a horrible week last week. For our YouTube following, you can see on the screen, he went 1-4 in his college football picks against the spread. He's only 9-15 overall. If he gets any worse, I've got a great tweet that I'm going to send out to Joel Klatt. And the Bias Bettors went 3-2 last week and are 15-9 overall, which gets us to our favorite segment, straight up against the herd. The herd's blazing 5, Friday NFL bets. The Herd actually had a good week. He went 3-2. The Bias Bettors also went 3-2. We are just whooping him in the season total, though. Bias Bettors are 13-7 overall, and the Herd is 9-11. So look for us to continue to try
Does
and
Colin
climb.
Coward do any college picks?
No, but he's a homer for USC.
Yeah,
so
he usually just picks USC every week. That's his bet.
Washington.
Homer. Which, Winkleman, we got to give you props. Great call of Illinois to cover against USC, and they got out of there with the outright W. Great call, Winkleman.
That dog was barking, boys.
Which takes us to who's cold. And really, we only have one bias better that was cold last week. She cannot join us right now, but as you can see on the screen for anyone joining us on YouTube, bias better Hannah was cold, and she lost the bet in the Iowa-Indiana game. So when she joins us for next week's podcast, she will be wearing a Mike Tyson tattoo on her face. We bought a couple of them. We already tried one on. Looks pretty good, so she'll show up next week with that. And then the other people that made this slide for who's cold is our competition. Our blazing 5 picks against Cowherd, we are just completely lapping him. And then Joel Klatt going 1-4 last week is just unacceptable for a so-called college football expert. So that's who was cold last week. Moving into this week with a little bit of a gruesome photo. So Hannah's college bets this year, Dudley had it pegged, are not going well. Almost as poorly as the rest of Tyreek Hill's season. We've got a picture there of his leg going the complete wrong way.
Kids are hyped that he's going to be back home for a while.
And then who put the slide of the American captain on here? Dudley, was that you?
Oh, I didn't.
I
Could have
have
been
a
Grady.
feeling. Yeah, I have a feeling
bet
Double G probably wanted to bag on the American captain a little bit more after that poor performance, course setup, everything that had to do with last week's Ryder Cup. Moving into this week, this Dog is Barking segment brought to you by David Bennett and, of course, Ruzek Financial. You can see our standings. Double G and AG are both hot. Their dogs have been barking. They come in with 4 points each. PG is right behind them with 3. Dudley and Winkleman both have 2. And Hannah is yet to score a point in This Dog is Barking. As you can see for our YouTube followers, which dogs we have this week, I'll go through them quickly. Again, this isn't necessarily our teams. It's just a segment for our podcast. PG likes the Bengals to cover at Detroit against the Lions. That spreads 10.5. Hannah likes Vandy 10.5 at Alabama. CJ likes Purdue to return the favor and cover against Illinois. AG is on Thursday Night Football, which that one's looking pretty good. 49ers plus 8.5 at the Rams. And then
That's
Dudley
going to be tough for them to not cover. AG.
It actually just hit, so that we can put a point down.
As the game ended, I was going to go to you. What's the live feed of the Thursday Night Football game?
23-20, going to go to overtime here. So,
well, unless they get the kick blocked or something happens.
Nope, it's 23-23. Gonna be in overtime. There's no possibility to that's a win against the spread.
Let the money roll in. And then Dudley, you like K-State at Baylor. K-State is one of your teams. Anything specific on that game you want to get into?
I mean, it's going to be so many points that I just felt like K-State's probably got a pretty good shot at running enough on Baylor. They got a terrible rush defense. K-State could also lose that game by 1 million. Who knows? It's a dog. It's not one of my locks. I had to throw K-State in somewhere.
So that takes us to the matchup of the week. We've got 2 biased bettors going head-to-head. It's Monday Night Football. Going into last week, I don't think this would have been pegged as matchup of the week, but both of these NFL teams are coming off of huge wins last week. The Jaguars going on the road, getting a big W at San Francisco. Almost a brawl between coaches after the game. That was pretty fun to watch. So the Jaguars come in 3-1. They're a lot hotter than teams, than most people would think. Now, our own AG had them pegged from the get-go. He wanted the Jaguars. He knew they would be good. And they're playing against the Chiefs. The Chiefs, it looked like it was the beginning of the end, and then they come out of nowhere and just played one heck of a game against the Ravens last week. So this will be a huge game. ESPN will have it Monday night. AG, what are your thoughts on Jaguars Chiefs Monday Night Football?
So I've been following the Jags pretty close this year. They have not beaten absolutely anybody. I mean, they beat the 49ers last week with Purdy playing quarterback, which Purdy is far inferior to Mac Jones. They have literally not beaten anybody. They've beaten the Texans and the Titans, and so I'm not going to bet either team, but I would take the under, as the Chiefs defense will absolutely put a box on the Jaguars on Monday Night Football.
What are the lines on this game?
I have it on my slide. You want to
Lines
slide
are
down
pretty
to my
tight.
slide?
I want to say we'll jump to it quick. Yeah, 3.5 was going to be my guess, and then 46 is the over/under. So you're thinking under
Ooh.
46.
Yep.
So Dudley and Winkleman, I got to go to you. I got a great idea for the punishment in this matchup. I think AG has to take Jags plus 3.5. I think Double G has to ride Chiefs minus 3.5. This is the Jawan Taylor game. Jawan Taylor, who is the left tackle for the Chiefs, absolutely horrible. You probably see him every Sunday, fall starting 3 or 4 times a game. Jawan Taylor started with the Jags. He was drafted by the Jaguars, played, I think, 3 or 4 years, and then signed as a free agent for the Chiefs. So this is officially, the Bias Bettors is pegging this as the Jawan Taylor game. I think whichever side loses has to record themselves getting out of a 3-point stance and getting back there to cover at the end as the left tackle and post it on their official Bias Bettors Twitter account. Dudley and Winkleman, what do you think?
Lock it in.
Count me in. That sounds fine.
I'll take whatever.
We can only hope AG loses to see that off the ball.
I'll take whatever side loses and just do it just for the pod.
I will say,
AG, do you want me to come over and try to rush the passer on the outside edge?
You be Jared Verse. I'll be the Colts setter. Just
little swim move.
I also think just because these two happen to be physical specimens of the male body, I think they need to do it shirtless, whoever loses.
Okay, here's the Jaguars have beaten the Panthers. They lost to the Bengals. And then they beat the Texans and Brock Purdy led 49ers. I am going to take the Chiefs.
Okay.
3.5.
I will say Browning even played, I think, most of that second half. I believe that was the game Joe Burrow went down. So they not only lost to the Bengals, they lost to the Browning-led Bengals,
yes.
at least for a half a play.
They are frauds.
I will say minus 3.5, especially in an NFL game. That's kind of the sucker line. So working out of the matchup of the week, we're going to work into the hottest bias better we have. He also may be the highest bias better we have. He's riding a high. He's riding a heck of a record. What'd you say in Big 12 games alone? Are you 14-6 against the spread?
14-6 in Big 12 games.
All right. Well,
I hammered down on Clemson one time and I lost some money, so we're staying away.
Okay, you've even got your records per team there for our YouTube followers. That's pretty good. You have been making me money on Texas Tech, so I'm not surprised that you're 3-0 there. What are you looking at this week? What do you like and why, Dudley?
Yeah, so the 3 picks I'm kind of rolling with right now. I like Kansas. I got Kansas minus 3.5 on Sunday afternoon. They're playing at UCF. UCF's got like 2 or 3 quarterbacks that are all hurt right now. They're probably going to play, but I don't know how dinged up they're going to be. I feel pretty good. Kansas should be able to win that game by about a touchdown or so, as long as nothing goofy happens down in Orlando. And then I have Texas Tech minus 10.5 against Houston in Houston. There's going to be probably more Texas Tech fans at that game in Houston. Houston struggled to beat Oregon State, needed a miracle comeback last week to beat Oregon State, who's awful. Texas Tech should be able to cover that. And then I have the under for that too. Texas Tech hasn't given up a touchdown the first 3 quarters of a game yet this year. I think they're going to be in pretty good shape to hold Houston pretty low. And I think Houston's defense could probably hold Texas Tech for a little bit. I think that game will be something like a 27-10 type of game, somewhere in there. Should easily cover that 50, in my opinion. I've been going around and around on Iowa State and Cincinnati. So Iowa State's a 1.5 dog. They're going to be playing a wide receiver at corner. They're going to be playing walk-ons at corner. It's going to be a disaster, but Cincinnati's defense is just so bad. So if you're interested in betting that, I'm not going to lock it up. So Rocco Becht is 7-0 straight up as a less than touchdown dog.
Wow.
But basically, it's if if there's a ranked team going on the road against an unranked team and they're an underdog, it's just a blanket. You pick the unranked team and then you move on. But I don't see how Iowa State could lose to Cincinnati. It definitely could happen, but I don't know. So I'm staying away from that one. But we're going to stick with Kansas, Texas Tech, and the under on Texas Tech and Houston.
I got a 50
So
burger on the
Dudley,
Cyclones, but maybe
I
that's just
I
Dudley,
me.
wouldn't I wouldn't do that.
you're following
I
Iowa State.
wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm following from afar. This is just another one of a series of lines I feel like for them this season that makes no sense. They've
Ah,
been
the last 2 weeks. I mean, that Arizona line got all the way down to like 3.5 by the time the game kicked. I had that one pegged if anybody paid attention last week.
Yeah,
no,
that
I
was
made a lot of
ridiculous.
money on that one. You had that one pegged perfectly. That was a no
And
sweater from the get-go.
But it doesn't
I
make
I
sense for
really think Iowa
Vegas.
State could put up like 40 against Cincinnati. And the issue is they could give up 45 and lose that game straight up. They could be just fine with how Iowa State's defense is set up. You can have some corners be not as good. And with the zone that they play, you can kind of get away with it for the most part. But still, I mean, you're going from two all Big 12 corners to a guy from Lindenwood and then a freshman that's never played.
Oy, oy. Can they
What were
throw
you
the
going to
ball,
say, Wink?
Cincy?
Cincy,
Yeah.
yeah, they're the number 4 scoring offense in the country, but they also they played Northwestern State. So,
That
but
skews the
okay,
numbers a
one
little
last
bit.
stat on Cincinnati's defense on how terrible they are. They give up 75%, so they have a 75% completion rate on defense. That
Oh
is
my God.
128th out of 129. If they keep that pace, it'd be the worst in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
So, like, Rocco could light them up.
What's the
Or,
over-under? 70?
no, 54 and a half. But again,
Okay.
I don't know. Iowa State's defense could still be just fine. Iowa State might try to run the ball and limit possessions. I'm just completely staying away from that game because I don't know how Iowa State's going to attack it.
Who's Cincinnati's quarterback? He's a transfer from a big school, isn't he?
Sorsby, Brendan Sorsby.
Where'd he come from?
Is he in Indiana or Michigan State? He was a Big
Uh,
Ten guy.
yeah, he was at Indiana. Yep, you're right. All right. Well, great info on those. I like your Texas Tech. I like where you're
I love
leaning there.
KU. I love
I like-
KU.
you don't like KU.
I love them.
Chuck.
Oh, you
Chuck.
love them.
He doesn't like him. He loves him.
And I'll say this, UCF, they're not a good program. They're definitely bottom of the Big 12. That doesn't stop Dudley from coming at your fan base on Twitter. He doesn't care who you are. He's coming at your fan base. Before we jump into your picks, AG, I just saw a reaction. What happened in the Thursday night football
Don't say it. Give me 20 seconds to catch up.
game?
It's 3rd and
You're
12
like,
right now.
3rd and 12, they're going to force a field goal out of the 49ers. So the Rams should get the ball, unless I don't know the overtime rules.
So, AG, I apologize. Some of your best picks this week, some of your best work is coming from Thursday Night Football. We recorded this a day later than normal, but what else are you looking at this week out of your picks, AG?
I do not think Maryland. Kicked it off, kissed it off the upright, and made it. So the Rams got the ball down 3 in overtime.
He's a
They
young
can
Al Michaels, Winkleman. He's a young Al Michaels.
They can score to win.
Time out, quick. Time out. So, Mac Jones is limping right now. Do you guys know who the backup is right now for San Francisco?
I saw his face.
is
He
it
was number
Dobbs?
4.
Adrian Martinez.
Oh my
They
God.
wish it was Dobbs.
Adrian Martinez is the backup right now.
Wow, I knew I recognized him.
Okay, I'm sorry. You can go, AG.
All right, anyways, I don't think Maryland is very good. Their best win is versus maybe the worst team in the Big Ten in Wisconsin. Washington's getting a good receiver back, so I think they'll go to the East Coast. 2:30 start, so it's not an 11 a.m. kick, which would be 9 a.m. for them
Yeah.
on the West Coast. So I take Washington. I'm back in on Boston College. Just
Come
shoot
on
me in the
now.
head. Just shoot me in the head. But I think they can beat Pitt. Over under 58.5. That is way too high.
That's a line
Um,
that Bill O'Brien loves.
he loves it. He loves it. And then Kansas City Jags under 46.5. And then I'm gonna take Kansas City minus 3.5, I believe. But like and subscribe to that to get that pick. But my dog was barking last week. I didn't get any, on the dog barking last week. I was all over Europe money line. Um, Justin Rose is my guy. He's always been my guy. Buys Better
Rat
Wink
face.
knows that.
He's a rat
Um,
face fuck.
and he gained 6 shots putting. If only Tom Weiskopf could putt like Justin Rose,
Anthony,
he
Wise
would be
guy.
on the
don't
tour.
trample on a good man's grave. Come on. Come
No,
on. Just a
no,
great guy.
different
Phenomenal
Tom.
guy.
Hey, different Tom Weiskopf, Evan.
I was thinking the Tom
Not the
Weiskopf out
actual.
that croaked. Ohio State Tom Weiskopf.
No, 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 no.
I
The
told you a
BB,
story about him on the putting green, haven't I?
yes.
He designed the putting green, just
Dot,
constantly
dot.
missing 5-footers.
Oh, the Rams are already at the 15, boys.
Give it to Kyron.
Yeah, he's already been executed out behind the stadium, boys.
Too
All
bad
right.
both of their running backs have nubs for arms and hands. All right, Winkleman, what do you got? Here's your slate
What's
of
Todd
games. Looks
Gurley
like
doing?
All right. A lot of buys for the BB gun here, but just want to shout out the Fighting Illini and Luke Altemeyer. They needed a bounce back game after getting ran train on by Indiana. USC, they were proven frauds. Great win by Illinois. Um, Not a lot of games for me. The one game I'm looking at is Minnesota at Ohio State. Ohio State somehow might be better than they were last year. Their defense is so freaking good. Sayan doesn't miss. He's leading the Big Ten, I think, in completion percentage, and they got Jeremiah Smith. Minnesota has two really good young safeties, great D line. So I think they're gonna. I have Minnesota covering, and I think it's gonna be a backdoor cover within 2 minutes at the end of the game.
Will
oh
Minnesota score? That's my only
Winkleman,
question.
Winkleman loves that back door.
I love.
well, Winkleman didn't even point out the biggest part of Minnesota covering here. 23.5 is way too large of a spread for a 6:30 p.m. game on the cock on Saturday night.
Oh, Ohio State does get a night game. Good for them.
Yeah.
So
And
it's a
Drake,
Cox
I will
bet.
say this. Drake Lindsey's the quarterback for Minnesota. They've opened it up a little bit. It's not like a typical PJ Fleck playbook. They're throwing it a little more. So I think it just keeps us in a little better because old Minnesota offense would just get eaten alive by Ohio State defense. Still gonna get eaten alive, but I think they somehow cover. And then same kind of concept I had with the Fighting Illini last week. I am gonna take the Broncos to cover at Philly. I think the Broncos they need a Philadelphia's been sneaking by some just bullshit wins and they can't throw the ball. Broncos have a good pass defense. I just think it's going to be down to the wire. And like you said, it's the 3.5 blanket line that they suck you into. I'm taking the Broncos. Everything screams Philadelphia. Give me the Broncos.
All right, Wink. So what do you think? Indiana plays your boys, Oregon next week. Indiana barely snuck it out against Iowa. They should have lost. So what do you think of the Indiana Hoosiers?
Well, they're a second half firepower team. That's a joke. They're not.
They
They've
did put
never
up
seen a film
69
more.
against Indiana State.
Yeah. The Sycamores. they've never seen a Phil Parker defense, so it's I don't know. The opening line on that is 12.5. We'll talk more about it next week. My gut just off the bat says that's too many points. Um, but I don't know. Oregon's pretty good. Their quarterback's pretty damn good too. So
The
leaning
Rams are not going
Indiana.
to kick this field goal.
You got to shut your camera off, AG. I don't want to see. Are they kicking it?
Well, it's
Shut your
4th and
camera off.
1. No, they're
Shut it off and mute it.
Shut it!
shut it,
Shut it
shut it,
off!
shut it
Shut
down.
it off. Shut your mouth.
Hey, quick shout out on social media, Colt Hoosier, one of our best followers. He's all in on our Indiana picks. I think he's going to like what Winkleman has to say next week. Make sure you watch next week, Colt Hoosier. And Rams Egg, quit going at our best followers and just attacking them on Twitter.
Yeah.
We need those guys in our corner.
Why is he calling us out? That was a horrible win for the Hoosiers. They should have beaten the Hawkeyes by a million.
Colt Hoosier, he's a foxhole guy. We need him in our foxhole moving forward, all right? All right, moving into my picks for the week. If anything happens in that Rams game, AG, feel free to cut me off. I, unlike Winkleman, have just
They went for it and got stuffed. They didn't make it. 49ers won. Yep.
Oh, man. That's a bad
Really?
loss.
Like I have to watch this now?
Horrible loss. They didn't even get close.
Hopefully Grady chose Rams in this pick 'em.
Yeah, I told him not to.
Winkleman, as I jump into my picks,
Jeez.
check out that record last week and that record total on the year. I am just absolutely making our followers money as long as their unit is $100,000. They've made a good chunk of money as long as they've got big units. I come into the week. Last week I went 3-2, 9-8 total overall, but I'm feeling good about some dogs this week. So I've got a big slate of games, a couple Big 10 games on Saturday, one Big 12 game, a couple large spreads there. The only thing I'm looking at is USC may be frauds. I think Nebraska is also frauds. So Brandon Walker, the #1 college football personality on social media, he's been touting all year that he thinks Nebraska's schedule is easy enough that they could be a sneaky, 10-2 team, 10-1 team, playoff team. I know they played Michigan tough, but I've looked at their schedule. I don't think it's that easy, and I just don't see it. I think Michigan State maybe doesn't win, but definitely covers against Nebraska this weekend, and it's mainly because of the athleticism of Michigan State's quarterback. Similar to Underwood at Michigan, I just think he can run around, he can distribute the ball, and I think that's a close game. So I really like Michigan State to keep it close. And then in the NFL, Ravens are without Lamar Jackson for the next couple weeks. But Cooper Rush, he can still get it done. He can sling that thing. So I like the Ravens. They're a slight home dog, and they're an organization that's got a lot of talent and a lot of heart and a lot of fight and a good coaching staff. The Texans have been terrible.
Horrible.
If the Texans are favorited, I think that's an automatic. You go the other way. So I'm on the Ravens this week. And then Commanders at Chargers. Jaden Daniels will be back. Other than that, I don't know if he'll have an offense that they can field around him. Plus, the Chargers are coming off a really, really poor loss in the Meadowlands against the Giants. Commanders have to go all the way across the country. It's a Sunday afternoon game. I like the Chargers. If it bumps up to 3.5, then it gets a little bit more risky. But at 2.5 right now, I definitely like Herbert to, get some time with his girl at home this week and play really well on Sunday. And the Commanders, their 3 best wide receivers are all likely out. Their tight ends he didn't practice. I mean, they basically didn't even, I don't know why they held a practice on Wednesday. No one was healthy enough to go. So my 2 NFL picks at this moment are going to be the Ravens to cover as a home dog and possibly win, and then the Chargers to get at least a 3-point win against the Commanders. Any thoughts on any of my games, Winkleman?
What's that?
Any thoughts on any of my games?
The one I was going to talk about was the Michigan State Nebraska. Nebraska's not good, and I will say it week after week. how people, college football analysts, keep picking Nebraska as like a sleeper Big Ten team. They're fucking horrible every year. Quit saying that. I want Michigan State here, and I think they cover again.
They actually, for a while, were my dog of the week. I flipped it out last second and went Bengals, but I like Michigan State in that game. And then we've got Wisconsin at Michigan. If AG's right and Wisconsin's as bad as they say they are, I think Michigan easily covers at home. And then if Dudley's still on, that my only Big 12 game, that's such a huge spread. Okie State firing their coach. Do you have any gut feel about Okie State going to Tucson this weekend as a 20-point dog, Dudley?
Oklahoma State is bad. That's what I got.
They did kind of battle last week, didn't they?
That's the old dead cat bounce. They'll be awful from here on out. Their whole team's in the portal now. They're gonna be bad.
Now you got the guy. Now you got the third stringers that should be playing D2 ball with heart. You got them starting now.
Yeah, and they're just gonna get absolutely rolled.
Yeah, they are.
I'm worried that Iowa State's gonna have a team to play Thanksgiving weekend when they go to Stillwater. That's what I'm worried about.
So we're jumping on to our last two here. We'll wrap this up pretty quickly. Just wanted to give you a few more lines that we're looking at. Some of our bias bettors are all over. Bias better Hannah, who couldn't be on the podcast tonight. She's got just one college game, Texas -6.5, Arch Manning going into Florida. She likes Texas to cover a touchdown. I know Florida's quarterback's bad. I know their offense is bad, but Texas has not looked great, and that's a pretty big line for a road game in the SEC.
From a feel standpoint, this feels like a Florida upset.
Yeah, Texas might finally get exposed. You know, they've kind of played some cupcakes since that Ohio State game, and this is their first true test. If they lose to Florida, I think it's time that people start bailing on the $8 million man there in Austin. And then in the NFL, she wanted to point out that the Bengals are absolute trash. She started following them this year because she's a huge Joe Burrow fan. It's been a turnoff since the team basically gave up after Joe Burrow's injury. For whatever reason, this isn't my team, but they're my dog of the week. I like the Bengals to show just a little bit of heart, play for their coach, who likely
They
will be
They will
fired.
not. That is a horrible dog of the week. The Lions will absolutely bury them. That's what the Lions are good at, just burying terrible teams. And they will bury the Bengals. They might win by 25.
HJ agrees with you, and she also likes the Vikings to cover.
Which I don't like that HJ agrees with me, but they will bury the Bengals.
Do we have her total record up on the board?
Evan found her on the Action app. Other people probably should go look. I don't think she's entered everything that she's betting in the Action app, but the Action app, it is just, it's a little bit of a war scene out there right now.
It's Normandy, folks.
If the over-under was at 0.5 for the last 2 weeks of her picks on this podcast, the under would hit.
And
so she's got Detroit, and then she's got
you
the
got
Vikings.
Taylor now. She's due. She's due.
And then she is looking for recommendations. She's looking for recommendations from people on Twitter. She's looking for recommendations from anyone in the bias bettors. She wants to start an HJ shopping spree parlay. She's got it blank right now because she's really looking for input from others. She wants it to be a community where she can throw in a parlay. And if she wins, she has some spending money to go out and buy some clothes or maybe buy one of 10 million toys for our kids that'll just clutter the house more. And then last but not least, he also couldn't make it tonight. Reasons unbeknownst to us. Maybe it's diarrhea. Maybe it's just because he's an absolute lazy pile. Bias better, Double G has a big slate of games, and where he's leaning, so AG, he's going head to head with what your opinion just was. He likes the Bengals +10 in Detroit, and he likes Washington +2.5, even though they're dismantled at the Chargers. And then Double G TD parlay. The goal is to double your money. He had Montgomery and Nakua. Nakua did score, didn't he?
Nakua did score.
Nakua scored.
So he's 1 for 2 right now. I might have to throw quite a bit of money on David Montgomery there against the Bengals on Sunday. So thanks everyone for joining. Make sure you like and subscribe to our podcast, both
Like and
on
subscribe,
Spotify,
like and subscribe.
both on Spotify and YouTube.
Like and subscribe.
We'll catch
Kyron
you guys
Williams.
next week.
Cut him.
Thanks, everyone.
Cut him.
Shoot Kyron Williams.
Just cut him.